Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.
Hello, this is Chef Willy. Welcome to a classic modern reviews. Last time I spoke about this movie, my initial reaction went sort of like this. And I can easily say I was not alone feeling this way.
It's already been a year since it first came out, and it's still talked about for how it failed in such epic proportions. What could have been the mark of today's golden age of superheroes, with the two biggest names of this genre turned into the biggest laughingstock with these random choices they made that should have been a red flag from the beginning. When it looked like the studios finally got it, they now understand why we love these characters and why they're so good, and only gave us a tiny little taste of what could have been the pinnacle of this genre's success. The only fun side of it is how divisive this has gotten so many fans. One side almost defending it with their lives, saying that it's perfect, nothing should be changed. And the other side saying, snap out of your nerdgasm. As most of you can tell, I'm not a fan of this one. I recently went back and gave it a second look to see if my opinion was influenced by these negative reviews, and surprise, surprise, it still sucks. So with these poor reviews, which possibly would have not helped with their DVD sales, a rated R extended edition was released with a 3-hour long of additional 30 minutes of deleted scenes that supposedly fixes most of the problems that the original has.
With that said, I'm gonna give it a second chance in this 1-year anniversary of disappointment. This time I'll be mentioning spoilers, so let's not waste any more time. Lex Luthor, ring the bell! This is round 2 of Batman meets Superman, the extended edition.
Okay, let's look at the good things that they fixed. For one thing that everyone agrees on, the editing is better this time. The narrative story is more coherent, it explains some parts that were left vague and unfinished, like the desert scene in the beginning for example. I never got what was the purpose of that, but as they expanded it, it added more to Superman's internal conflict whether he belongs on the Earth or not. They made his story arc a little bit more cohesive, and it felt more like a Superman movie this time. He tries to do the right thing, but still people get hurt in his attempts. He's presented as a political figure, asking the question of what if a man with all these godlike powers came to the Earth, and how would he work on society? Would he trample on people because he can and nobody would be able to stop him? Or would he spend serving as a helper to those needed? And it's clear in the added scene when he's rescuing people after the explosion. It's not like in the cinematic version where the building explodes, he feels sorry for a minute, and he runs off. He's actually trying to help those injured, but even then they still view him as a threat, which makes them doubt whether he should be the hero they proclaim him to be. For all the good intentions he has, people still hate him, fear him, and conspire against him, which comes out as a more relatable character than from the original cut. Speaking of him, Clark Kent has more screen time and finally does some journalism stuff. This time, they expand more on why he's chasing after Batman. We know he goes after him because he's a vigilante and he's not okay with vigilantes, but they add a few things that gives it a bit more weight. They explain a lot better of what branding his victims is all about. Whenever some criminal gets in jail with a mark, they end up getting killed. So to see Clark confront one of the family victims as they're affected by the actions of the Batman gives a better understanding of why he's gotta be a dick with him. The police cannot stop him, the journalism won't stop him, only he can. After looking on other people's perspectives on the movie, I can see now why Bruce becomes more ruthless and violent. He's lost so many people he loved, as shown with the Robin costume, which we can assume the Joker killed him, that he doesn't care anymore. So when he witnesses what a potential threat Superman can be, he's willing to take him down himself. No questions to ask, just kill the alien. Some other parts were improved on, like the lady that testified on her village being attacked, or the guy in the wheelchair, which I'm glad they fixed this one scene with him and the senator after encountering Lex Luthor, because the way they edited it in the original just sounded very wrong with me.
He made me half a man.
Dude, I don't want to know how Lex made you feel like a half man. With that said, some of the scenes did add justice to it. Sure, it might drag, but from the first hour, it started to clear some convolutions that in some ways started to make more sense. Now I could relate more to these characters and see them take place in the real world as symbolic figures and influences as to who we are in this world. And what should we do with this great power that lies within us to do good? The choices we make is what will define us as people. And that's what great heroes like these have taught us in our lives.
With that said, I can easily say that not only does this fix, but it's better than the original. But there are just some things you just can't fix with 2 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours long when your main plot is rooted in nonsense.
Because when it comes down to it, it's really not about them. It's about J.C. Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. And that's one of the problems of the movie. Not because he's completely over the top and out of character from the comic book Lex Luthor we know.
Daddy's fist an abomination.
Because that is paradoxical.
I don't know! You let your family die! And he's coming! I would not let them tell me!
We don't have to depend upon the kindness of monsters.
And for also having a severe mumbling problem.
Hoy, hoy! Wrong category, boy. Now,
No, what am I? What was I saying?
I need to mumble my words as over the top and noisy as everyone can tell that I'm insane. Do I look crazy? Am I sound crazy? Yes. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Definitely not. I hate my daddy. The main issue is how they take away the focus from the main two protagonists to make Lex Luthor the main plot. He's the cause of our main heroes fighting. It's not about proving which other's philosophy works, as they barely established any. Oh no, it's about Lex's plan from the beginning to kill each other in such a complicated mess that is so long to explain that I recommend you go see the honest trailer. So he wants to kill Superman because he hates God. Okay, but why does he want to kill Batman? How does he discover his identity as Bruce? How did he know Clark Kent was Superman? So if he hates God and doesn't want anyone like him, then why does he create a godlike mutant Kryptonian teabag that is exactly like him? His evil plan matches all the 3 C's that you shouldn't do in an evil plan, such as being convoluted, convenient, and confusing. Nothing adds up, and the few answers we get make as much sense as someone who thinks Emma Watson can sing.
Ooh, I just went there. Did I?
Speaking of convoluted, here's my gripe with the Flash dream. It's not only that it takes away the focus from Batman and Superman, but just how they ruin 2 moments that could have been the biggest in the movie. One of them being the intro to Batman and their first time facing off. So we see Bruce in the outfit, he's in the desert setting up more sequels as I presume, where he encounters an evil side of Superman. Then he wakes up from the Flash dream and it's followed up by his introduction in the suit. We finally see him in the costume. It's supposed to feel grand and epic as they're letting us know with the music. But we already saw him a while ago making an unceremonious entrance in that Flash dream. But what follows are the 2 heroes. They finally meet for the first time. It's the biggest moment we all been waiting for, and it's played out to be epic. Unfortunately, we just saw them together a while ago in that dream. Talk about an underwhelming strapped on. It's incredible the skills that it took to water down what could have been the biggest moment in movie history, only to add a plot device that doesn't belong here, doesn't affect the plot of the movie, and won't be mentioned again. Hell, Captain America's first encounter with Iron Man felt more special than this. Now, it's well known Zack Snyder makes great visuals to give it a stylized look to his movies, but don't always seem to have much substance, meaning they look good but don't mean anything, much like the fight that everybody was looking forward to. Out of all the botches, this was another moment everyone was waiting for, and instead is reduced to this meaningless, slow, anticlimactic brawl. At this point, it didn't matter what reasons they were fighting, since they barely focus on their motives. Instead, they jam in a new reason to fight so they can get into Lex Luthor creating Doomsday and establish the Justice League, which, again, when your movie has Batman and Superman in the title, it shouldn't be about anyone else but these two alone. Oh, and let's talk about Martha! So let me get this straight. They stop fighting, they forgive all their differences, and force it down our throats that they're best friends when a while ago he was about to slice his throat open because their both mothers have the same name?
Martha, Martha, Martha.
Save Martha! Why did you say that name?
Do you have any idea of how stupid this is? Not only did they give us the new Jar Jar Binks for the next millennials, they also gave us the new low for Batman for the next generation. Yeah, if you look into it, he's had a track of low moments in his career. First we had the dancing hippie Batman, then we had the embarrassing Bat credit card.
Never leave the cave without it.
Now we're in the age of Martha! I hope who came up with this idea was patting his back thinking this was a genius idea.
Yes, this is what will grab audiences with. For how deep it is, it'll be studied and analyzed through generations. For how complex it is.
It is filled with millions of plots and setups that there's no time given to develop any of them, which in this case, the actors suffer from it. They either come out as miserable, a parody of themselves, or just plain stupid. If you thought Lois Lane was dumb in the original cut, wait until you hear her what comes out of her mouth.
He didn't know he was gonna die.
By the third act, everything crumbled and fell apart. It is loud noise with no purpose, an unfocused mess that looks like it has no interest on having a cohesive story, since it looks like they have better plans in mind with the next sequels than putting together the two biggest names of all time in one movie. No matter how many pages from the comic you bring to life, they don't mean anything if there's no characters I can care for or have a connection. So when they did the quote-unquote bold move of killing Superman, I did not care, because after 2 movies, I had no connection with him. If you had no knowledge of Superman from the comic books, the movies, the cartoons, the video games, and this was your first introduction to him, would you still think that he's an inspiring character that gives hope? Or what many accuse him of being bland and not interesting? And yes, he's a political and religious symbol in the movie, but I would like to hear from him. Why does he protect the planet? Not fed with speeches from someone else that tells us what he's supposed to be. Plus, I knew from the get-go he was coming back for Justice League, so I had no fear that I would not see him again, but anger. This moment should have felt special. The greatest hero of all time has finally been defeated. He was overpowered. He's dead. The world mourns for him because he changed their lives. He made a difference on everyone else, and yet I felt no amount of loss because I didn't know him enough. They can add all the Jesus symbolism they want. His death meant nothing.
I mean, it still boggles my mind. How could they have messed up something so simple? But you might say, but Willie, it's not easy to adapt a comic book to a movie. Well, hello 70s! Hello multi-million-dollar universe! Now you might add, oh man, you're just over-exaggerating. Well, I am over-exaggerating, and I'm deserved too! I waited for so long this moment, hyping it, getting emotionally and mentally ready for months that this would be the greatest superhero movie of all time, only to get this french fry put on no good bitch known as Marta! You tell me that's all we've been waiting for. Tell me that it was all about this. Go ahead and say it! Say it! Say it!
Yes.
Hate this movie!
The only way you're gonna make me like this monkey dump is if you take away Lex Luthor out of this. Take away Doomsday out of this. Take away all the Justice League build-ups and setups. And as much as Wonder Woman was good in it, take her also out. Oh, and don't forget to take Martha! Put them all in a basket case, send them to the editing room, and press delete! Delete! And start over with these two fighting in a 2-hour-long Iron Man match. Other than that, it is still a bad movie! Now the things that were good are still good. Ben Affleck as Batman, Jeremy Irons as Alfred, which I didn't realize how good he was until then, despite this version being rated R, which really had no purpose. You see some blood in it, they say the F word, but it doesn't add anything. It's a film clash in 3 movies with no direction and no focus on what should have been about. The heroes and their struggles. This movie tries to be about something more that leaves you thought-provoked, but it gets lost because it doesn't know what it wants to be. This edition may have fixed a few branches from the tree, but it can't fix the roots of the problem. And that's being unfocused. I give this edition a 5 out of 10 stars.
I forgot how exhausting this made me feel. Now that I got that out of the way, if you've seen this extended edition, what were your thoughts on it? Was it better? Was it not better? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. You can leave your comments down below, like, subscribe, and what will be some movies you would like me to review later. And if you like, you can check my previous Batman v Superman by the end of this video. Well guys, tune in next time, and I hope I haven't lost my cousin film lovers out there, because when I get back, I'll be taking a look on a very classical movie. And I don't want to spoil the surprise or anything, but I'll give you a clue for what it is. It starts with 7 and ends with samurai, along with a magnificent recent one, and this time there won't be any yelling. That's it for today. Ciao.
Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.